Hi! What's Halloween without a little bit of creepy? Well, today I have for you a creepy Halloween tree using the Stampin' Up! Jar of Haunta stamp set. I'm so glad you're joining me today. Welcome to StampingSmiles.com. I'm Shelley Godby, the owner and CEO of Stamping Smiles, and for 15 years I've been teaching others how to create their own hand-stamped smiles, and now I am very excited to show you how to make my Jar of Haunta Halloween tree. When I found these eyeball gumballs with the Halloween candy, I got all excited because I knew I'd be able to make a creepy Halloween tree with my Jar of Haunta stamp set. Look, we have eyeballs that'll be floating in some kind of eerie liquid in the canning jar. And look how they fit into the 2x8 cellophane bag. I know, it looks like they were made for them. So now we need to make a topper. So we're going to start with our stamping. What I have here is some Whisper White thick cardstock because I'm going to watercolor. And because I'm going to watercolor, I need a permanent ink. So I'm using the basic black Archival Stampin' Pad. Push, flip, lock that lid into place. Permanent ink so it doesn't bleed when we add water to it. Okay. So let's ink that all up and stamp. Oh, looking oh so good. And then we have the eyeballs. Got those inked up, and I'm wanting to hit it right about there. So I'm so happy this is a photopolymer, so I can see through the stamp and place it just where I want it. Oh, looking so good. We're done with this for now, so let's pull on that lip, pull it all the way out, flip, and then click to know that it's shut. Have you ever done all of your coloring and then die cut it and not get it just right and go, oh, you have to start over? So when I do think of it, I like to go ahead and just do the die cutting before my coloring. But you know, sometimes you just get all caught up in the project and forget to do that. But let me grab my Big Shot and we'll do that die cutting first. So I have my Big Shot die cutting machine. I could use the Big Shot platform that comes with the purchase of a Big Shot, but if I did that, I'd want to use some tape to hold the die in place. So instead, I'm using the magnetic platform. This is an additional purchase, but I highly recommend it if you're going to be using the Framelits dies. So that's the start of our sandwich. The next part is a cutting pad, and then our cardstock, and now look. This coordinates with the Everyday Jars Framelits dies from the 2016 Stampin' Up! Catalog. It is just so great that they gave us more stamps to go with our dies, making them even more flexible. So now I'm going to frame my stamped image, and I want to center that around there. Okay, I'm thinking that's looking pretty good. And then the rest of our sandwich to finish it is another cutting pad. You do get 2 cutting pads when you purchase a Big Shot. Okay, so let's just crank that through and see what we have. Oh, fantastic. Good, good, good. All right, we're not done with our Big Shot, so let me push this back through. We're going to make the topper part now, and we're going to be using the Banners Framelits dies. These are from the 2016 Stampin' Up! Catalog. And so we're going to be using the second largest die. Okay, so let me pull this back out. And what I have here, this brick pattern, well, this is from the Stampin' Up! Halloween Night Specialty Designer Series paper. On the opposite side are those houses. Okay, and so we're just going to fold this in half. And look, I want to show you something with the Framelits dies. The cutting edge is this inside part, not out here, but there's that raised cutting edge. So that's important for a couple reasons, because it may look like I just cut this just too small, but I didn't, because it's going to be on the inside. Because there was no need in way overcutting my paper, because I want to get as much out of my paper as I can, my pretty and creepy paper. And I want to make a fold over, right, topper for this. And so I've cut it shorter than this, and look, the cutting edge is up there, so I won't be cutting through. I'll still have that fold over, but I'll have these nice little tails. So I'm bringing that down, and I'm fine. It looks like I'm over the edge, but I'm not, because we know the cutting is actually on the inside. Are you with me? You'll see in just a second what I'm trying to explain. All right, so the rest of our sandwich is the second cutting pad. Go ahead and crank this through. All right, let me show you. So look what we have. We've got, this will be our topper, which is going to fit really great around the candy. Before we watercolor, I have one more thing to stamp, and that is the Trick or Treat from the Spooky Fun stamp set. So again, I still need a permanent ink, so I have my basic black Archival Stampin' Pad. Okay, and let's ink this up. Let's go ahead and write down here. Oh, great. Okay, so let's put this away. And now we're ready to watercolor. And I have my Real Red Classic Stampin' Pad, and we're going to watercolor with this. So what we're going to do is press down, press the pad into the lid, and we open up. Look at all the color it puts down here. Okay, and so we're going to use the Aqua Painter. Love, love, love this for watercoloring. It makes it really easy because it controls the water for you. Okay, and so what I have here is a napkin. I'm going to squeeze it to get the water going. So I get off the excess, and then also in case it didn't get put away clean, you know, that takes care of that. I'm going to come over here and pick up some ink. There we go. And we're going to make our bloodshot eyeballs. And I'm done squeezing. I only squeeze when I'm over here. I'm all done. And see, this controls the flow of water, so watercoloring is truly a breeze. Okay, we are done with that. So let's go ahead and squeeze and get off the red. Okay, so we're ready for another color. So with this pulled all the way out, we're going to flip and click. Next, we're going to have our eerie liquid is going to be purple. So I have the Perfect Plum, pressing on the pad, pressing the pad down into that lid. And here we go. The first time I played with this, I colored around the eyeballs. And then I got thinking about it. I thought, wait a minute, we're looking at the eyeballs through the liquid, so the eyeballs need to have purple on them too. Okay, so let's get in here. I'm going to avoid them for just a second to give them a little bit of time to dry. The Real Red is not a permanent ink, but I'm not going to put heavy water on there, but I want to give them a second to dry so it doesn't bleed in right away. Okay, and see, look at that, our colors, because I stamped right in there and we're coloring right over it, it doesn't bleed. That's why we're using a permanent pad when we want to watercolor. Okay, so let's get some thin color and just lightly go over this. Oh, there we go. And then that one on top, of course, is staying really good in white. Doesn't that look great? But it's about to get even better. Okay, let's squeeze so we know we're going to put that away clean and wipe that off. Okay, it's about to get better because we're going to go ahead and give this a glassy finish. The jar should look glassy, right? So while we're giving it just a moment to dry, why don't we go ahead and put the topper on our candy. Okay, so here's the topper that we made, and I want a super strong adhesive, so I'm going to use the mini glue dots. Let's take these out of here. What you do is you fold them back until you can see them in the light, and we're going to take our paper to it and press, because we don't want to touch them. That'll take away from the extreme stickiness, and we need one on each of the 4 tips here. Okay, and we'll place our bag on here and fold that down. Look how that fits right in there. Really like. Okay, that just, I'm not centered like I'd like. That's what I like about the mini glue dots with the cellophane bags. You can get them apart. They come off of it easy enough because they aren't porous without tearing. So let's try that again. Okay. There we go. I think that's looking good. Ah, whoops, oops, oops, fell out of my hand. Okay, one more time. Slid right out. Here we go. And I like how the gumball fits between that little fishtail. Okay, so now to making this all glassy. Before we give our canning jar with the floating eyeballs a glass finish, let's use our heat tool to dry the ink. That first setting is for drying. This will be great. Okay. That's feeling dry. So now we're ready to go ahead and give it that glass finish. And what I have here is a VersaMark stamp pad. This is a clear ink. And stamp this over the entire jar. And then we're going to sprinkle clear embossing powder over the entire thing. I just did this technique in a video, Christmas Magic, and gave an ornament a glass finish. Okay, so sprinkle this all over. Want that good coverage. And it looks powdery all over. Let's see. Okay, so now let me bring back the heat tool. Hold on to it at one end. And instead of using the first setting for drying, we're going to use the second, that's for melting the embossing powder. And hold this in the light so I can see once it starts melting, because it'll get all shiny and it will intensify the colors. There we go. Oh, there it goes. Very cool. Got some hot heat, so I want to get my fingers out of the way. Let me come to this other, hold it from this other end and finish it. Okay. If you ever see something that's powdery, you can just still go back and melt it. And it goes pretty quickly once it starts. Okay, so nothing, oh, a little bit of powder right there. Okay. Let me hold this in the light. I think everything looks good and shiny. Now, I don't know on camera if you can see it, but I can. I mean, I do have a shiny surface, but it isn't perfectly smooth. Watch what happens when we do it a second time. So we're just going to repeat the process. I'm just going to put VersaMark over the entire front. Okay, and we're going to sprinkle on the clear embossing powder the second time. And then, of course, melt it with our heat tool. Okay, fully covered. And let's bring this back. I think it goes even faster the second time because it's already warm. There we go. Oh my goodness, this is so shiny. Let me turn it around and keep my fingers out of the way. I don't want to melt them. Oh, wow, this is so awesome. Okay, let me, there we go. You can see I need the sides. And now it is just really glassy, really shiny and smooth. I don't know if I can turn it in the light for you to catch that, but it's just basically perfectly smooth. I love this. Now let's add it to our topper. I tied a coordinating piece of basic black and basic gray baker's twine from the Halloween night baker's twine. Okay, so the only thing left to do is add our creepy jar of floating eyeballs, and we're going to do that with Stampin Dimensionals. We're going to give it a little bit of lift. So I'm going to take a couple of these and add those on. Okay, and then peel off that backing. Okay, if it doesn't come up right away for you, press down with your thumbnail, and then it makes the edges pop up right at the, there you go. And let's put this on. Cute, cute, cute. We have got one creepy Halloween treat. Would you like to give some creepy treats? Well, all the supplies to make my Jar of Haunts Halloween treat are listed under the video and available to order in my online store, www.shopwithshelly.com. I'm Shelly Godby, teaching you how to create hand stamped smiles. Thanks for watching.